We have Teddy Bridgewater here to answer questions you guys have for him. No one has any. Chris, do you want to start us off with the first question?
Hey, Teddy, just curious on your take on this. As far as the success between a quarterback and a wide receiver, how much of that is chemistry versus a guy just being able to get open? And then if you could talk about your experiences where you've had good chemistry with a wide receiver, and if that's been some things off the field that contributed to that.
I honestly think, it just comes with, you know, hard work, but also just the flow of games sometimes. You see a guy out there who may get targeted 13 times and catch all 13, or he might catch 11 out of 13, and it just seems like everything is clicking. Sometimes it's just, you get hot and you feed the hot hand, but other times it's just, the work you put in on the field, it translates to the work you put in on the practice field transfer to the games, and once you're out there in the games, it's just like practice. So when you get the opportunity to just have guys fly around and make plays, you just want to try to keep feeding them more and more.
And if I could, Teddy, just following up with that, are there any things off the field that also plays a role into that chemistry, whether it's been in the tape room or off the, out of the stadium type activities?
I mean, there's a lot of things that go unseen, that happens throughout the week. And most, the success that you have on Sundays, take place on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And, within the meeting rooms, just spending extra time getting the feel, getting an understanding of concepts and, the areas we're trying to attack on different concepts and just knowing where to be. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot that goes unseen.
Let's go to Miles Simmons and then Joe Person.
Hey, Teddy, just wondering, how would you assess the way that you played in the first quarter of the season?
I mean, I really haven't done that. I just try to focus on, one game at a time and our next opponent. I'm pretty sure there'll come a time at the end of the year where I can look back and, assess everything. But right now, it's not really about, me. It's about this team. So I think we're sitting at 500 right now. You look at some of the games and you say, man, what if, or we could have this and that. But, that's not our focus right now. We can't control what happened in the past. We control our own destiny, and we want to just make sure that we understand that.
Teddy, Matt was saying that you go each week on your own and meet with the offensive line coaches. Is that something, how long have you done that? And what are those conversations like? And then if you would, tell us about the Miami Heat.
Well, that's something that actually I just started this year. Just, letting those guys hear what I'm thinking and hearing what those guys are thinking, so that way when we get out there on the field on Sundays, we're all on the same page. So, it's been huge for us so far, just being able to communicate with each other throughout the course of the game. And, I think the guys really appreciate, when we all get together, the quarterbacks come in the room and talk. The running backs are in there hearing the quarterbacks and what we're thinking about in the pass game, protection-wise, run game also. My Miami Heat hat, and I got to rep the hometown. So hopefully we can make a comeback and upset a lot of people.
Let's go to Will Kunkel and then Phil Orban.
Hey, Teddy, Will from Fox 46. Just a quick one first, following up on Joe's. Did you pick up that going to talk to the offensive line from like Drew Brees or anybody in the past, or just something you thought of?
Yeah, it was just something I thought of. And we didn't do that much, when I was in New Orleans, but, everyone was on the same page. But, here in Charlotte and Carolina, just something that I thought, would be beneficial to everyone. We get out there on Sundays and, sometimes you're not on the same page because you never took the time to meet. So, for us, and it's good for, guys like Will Greer, PJ Walker, Trent Cannon, Mike Davis, those guys to hear, those things because, in this league, everything happens so fast. So for us to be able to just all get on one page and everyone from, the starters to the guys who aren't playing, for them to hear, that dialogue, that's just still a mental rush for them.
And then, do you view this game with the Falcons as a rivalry? Is this a rivalry game to you, or just a division, another game?
It's all of these games, man. It's just the next opponent to me. Um, you want to respect your opponents and everything. And, to me, we play Atlanta this week and we're trying to go 1-0 this week. One thing I can say is that, I can tell what kind of game or what type of team we're going to face, because just 2 weeks ago, we were the same team, trying to find a win in this league. So we have to understand that, those guys are fighting to find a win. And, last year, I was a part of something that happened last year that got Atlanta going, when they beat New Orleans and they got a nice streak going. So, just got to understand, man, that, this team is, fighting to find a win, and we can't go out there and just think they're going to hand it to us.
Thanks, man.
This may seem like a dumb question, but when you're not sacked in a game, are you aware of that in the moment, or is it something you look back? Like, is it the third quarter and you're like, man, like I haven't been sacked yet? Or is it something that you look back on at the end of the game and realize? And then if you could just talk about your offensive line's play overall, despite being shuffled around.
Yeah, it's something that you just look back on at the end of the week, well, at the end of the game, I'm sorry. And you walk away like, man, I feel pretty good, or, I didn't really take any hits. And the guys up front, man, they've been playing, playing their ass off. But, with different guys coming in and just having to play, you talk about Greg, Chris Reed, those guys, man. Even Lars had to come in for a couple plays last year for Matt Paradis. And, it's just a group of guys too who work extremely hard with, Big John and Timo. Those guys, man, I think for them, it means a lot to them to go out there and keep the quarterback clean and open up the run lanes for the runners. You watch them, they play with a ton of energy. When Reggie scored a touchdown last week, you see Big Boosie in the end zone dancing with them. You see guys making plays down the field. And, Chris Reed might be down there to pick him up, Ian Thomas. You see we scored a touchdown and Timo spiking the ball. We're still working on that, but, he's spiking the ball. So, those guys are having fun out there, and it means a lot to them.
Let's go to Sharon Thorsland and then Jason Huber.
Hey, Teddy, when you look at this Falcons defense, what do you see out of those guys? I know that they've had a lot of guys dinged up, getting some guys back in the secondary, though, this weekend, it looks like. So what have you seen out of them defensively? What kind of challenge do they pose?
I mean, honestly, it's a team that plays fast. They haven't, caught many lucky breaks, but, you put the tape on and they're flying around, man. You feel those guys, when you watch the tape. And, that's something that we're aware of. We got to be physical and we got to bring our own energy. We can't let them come out and dictate the floor of the game. And we just got to be the more physical team, and hopefully, that'll slow them down as the game go on.
Hey, Teddy, we were just talking with Matt Rule, and he said, he's praising your football IQ. And he said one of the guys that you remind him of that he's worked with is Eli Manning. I'm wondering first, and I know you've mentioned a bunch how you want to be Teddy Bridgewater. That's who you want to resemble. But what quarterbacks growing up did you kind of follow and want to be like? And also, where did you get that football IQ and kind of that strive to learn always?
Growing up, I played a little wide receiver also. So I wanted to be like Randy Moss and those guys who were scoring touchdowns. But at the same time, I did watch, Donovan McNabb, Mike Vick, those guys, Steve McNair. And I just always told myself that, man, I like the way, those guys play the game. And when I was a wide receiver, I just always wanted to know, each position. So I wanted to know what the quarterback was thinking. So when I transitioned to playing quarterback, it was like second nature. By me playing wide receiver, I had a feel for coverages and things like that. And it just helped sharpen my IQ. When I was in high school, I used to have my wide receivers come over to the house on Thursday nights, and we would play, PlayStation, NCAA football, and we would just go over coverages and things like that. And little did I know that those were actual coverages, that I would see, years later. But and I think that right there might have helped my football IQ some. But honestly, I think for me, my biggest skill is just being able to react. And whatever you throw at me, I just consider myself a problem solver. So, a lot of the times I'm just reacting to what I see.
All right, guys, we only have time for 3 more, so let's go to Chris Jenkins and then David Newton and finish with Miles Stemmer.
Hey, Teddy, I know when you ran last week, you said you didn't think about your body at all. It was just something that you did. So wondering, since, it's been a couple of days now, naturally you're going to go through your progressions, but once you get to a point where you can run the ball, do you feel like you're going to be, I guess, eager, if you will, to go ahead and do that, or more comfortable to do that?
Man, I just try to play in rhythm, try to play, in sync. I trust my feet, as I'm going through my progressions. If the primary is in there, that's my first hitch. Secondary guys in there, that's my second hitch. Third hitch is my check down. If, I'm getting the 4 hitches, then I'm testing protection and forcing our O-line to block even longer. So, I just trust my feet and go from there. It's not something, that I just drop back and say, hey, I'm just going to take off. But, as long as I play in rhythm, if I have to, escape the pocket, defenses do play great coverage sometimes. So, if nothing is there, I think, for me, it's either throw the ball away or try to get some yards. So, I won't let last week's, run, drive me to just think I'll take off. I'm still just going to play in rhythm and trust my feet.
David, you want to ask your question?
Oh, yeah. I'll make it simple. How are the Heat going to pull off this miracle?
With good faith. That's all we need, faith of a mustard seed. So, hopefully Coach Spo can get those guys going, UD, the OG, get those guys going, and they come out with a little attitude and try to shock the world.
It would be a shock.
Definitely, man. But, I'm just excited that, those guys made it this far. Hopefully they could pull off the upset. But, it's 2 great teams playing, and whoever wins, they deserve it.
All right, Miles, you want to finish up with the last question?
Sure. Thank you, Preston. Teddy, we were asking Matt Rule a little bit about sustaining drives, and that's one thing that you guys as an offense has done pretty well this year. What do you think is the biggest key to being able to do that, and how much do you feel like your demeanor may play into that?
I mean, the crazy part about that is, you walk away from a Chargers game and you're hearing, oh man, you guys not converting on third downs. And then you play a Cardinals team, #1 in the league in third downs, and you have some success. And it's like, oh man, you guys are sustaining drives. So it's like, man, it's so many ups and downs. But, at the end of the day, man, it's just understanding situations. I can tell you we are shooting ourselves in the foot. We have too many, negative plays on first and second down. We're getting false starts, on third downs and putting ourselves behind the sticks. But, some way, somehow we're figuring it out, and then converting on third downs. And I think, it's just a credit to, the offensive line protecting the pass catchers, running their routes and winning on third downs. And for me, it's just trying to stay even keel, understanding that, third down, some defenses will bring their pressures. Some defenses may just play it soft, and just understanding that, if it's 3rd and 17 and we can get 15 yards with the head coach that we have, you never know, we may go for it on 4th and 2. So just giving ourselves a chance, that's what it's all about. And I think we've done a good job of that so far.
All right, Teddy, we appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. Thank you.